Joachim, please unmute yourself.
Boker Tov, good morning.
Boker Tov.
So I'm sitting with this topic of the image for a while now. After 2 weeks ago, we read this in Zohar Emor, and now we read this in Bereshit. And so I wonder about, like it says, let us make man in our image. So God created man in his own image. And at the same time, we are asked not to have an image of God. So it sounds like the image landed in a way in Adam or in us, and we are not supposed to have the image of God. So is there any way that this image can be revealed through us?
There's no image to God. When he says he's created us in his image, it means in proximity to, like imagination, which is the root of image, is a proximity to. Okay, so there is two expressions. One can say he created us. There is part which is a simile. Okay, image is a simile. Okay, if we want to a definition, so there is something in us that is in simile to him. Okay, a part, component in us that can that is causing in us an affinity. This simile is causing us an affinity to our root, to him. Okay. Now, if we try to change this simile into something that is molded in something that is not flexible and in movement, we're missing the point. Because the part that is being, the simile part that is being invested in us is a component of movement, of completion. What we're completion meaning the act of completion. If we try to complete it in ourselves as an image, we actually sin in terms of we diverse ourselves from the dynamic of eternity. We're fixing it in immortality. Therefore, what he created in us is the ability to attain infinity. And when we're fixing it when we're trying to make an image, a static image of him, so we're actually moving out of the purpose of creation. So what he invested in us is not something that we can sort of fix or form as a static image of him. Every time we try to sort of fix it, it's like it becomes a mask. It's to do with, you know, when you use the technique of sculpting in bronze, you actually take something that you sort of heat it into a fluid, and then you pour it into a mold. So it's fixed. It's getting cold and it's getting fixed. So this is our ability. We can fix, and we are asked not to fix this component in us, because that causes us death of the relationship. So he can give us life. We cannot give life to God. We can give a reflection and ever-changing full color or use of the dimension, which is all the time till the end, and we don't know even if the end or when we'll finalize and complete ourselves, it will not continue. So in this respect, what he gave us is a component of movement. We try to fix the component and to kill the component by fixing it. This is why. Okay, it's because we are we need to understand that the diminishment is in order to allow us to grow. When we fix it, we fix the growth. We stop the growth. Okay, it's like saying to, I don't know, 80-year-old kid, that's it, stop growing, you look perfect to me. Okay, so this is why what was given to us was to cause movement, and when we try to make it ourselves, we cause arrestation. Okay, yes.
And at the same time, there seems to be a process, like on our journey, of a molding of something into us.
Well, what we get, the component which is to do with tselem, or an image, is to be able to activate constantly the power of imagination, but not to fix it. Every time we grasp something or we perceive and we dress it with our mind, with our feeling, even with the sfirot, meaning even with the feeling of spirit, we need to understand that it's temporary. It's the step that we took in order to make the next step, not in order to stop. Okay, so in a way we use the power of imagination, but in order to further ourselves, not in order to fix ourselves. But what was given in us is a component that is fixed in order to allow us the movement. So it's different when the giver of life is acting towards us and when we reflect it back. Okay. So it's if I will take the most of our suffering is because we fixed our parents in the function of of the way they acted towards us, and that causes suffering. If we allow to extend all the time the image of them in ourselves, we are able to forgive and we are able to incorporate and we are able to grow. Otherwise, we get into the position of Oedipus. We're trying to kill the father. And that's what happened with humanity. They killed God. And therefore, one can say, okay, God is dead. I don't have to relate to the Father. But we need to relate to the Father all the time, but not by fixing his role or function only towards us, but to build the image of it as a fuller image, not only in the way that it treats us personally, but as a person in the world.
Yeah, and we can see in the world how much we need to relate to the Father, right?
Yeah, to the father and the mother, but to the parents, yeah.
Right.
So this is why it's one of the 10 commandments. Our relationship to our root is part of our growth. Yeah. So we use usually, and this is where we trap ourselves. We use that only on one level, which is psychological and functional. We judge it as function in relation to us. But in relation to us, we already got the maximum possibility that we need to be grateful for, which is that they gave us life. And that's it. They're already above us. So we cannot change it into judgment. Okay. So here, all psychology goes out of the window. Because the stand of a psychological person that he's being owed something. And he's judging the performance of the function. And actually, commandments say that you cannot judge the performance because the performance already has been completed in the best way. It gave you life. Now do with it, earn it. Not judge with it, earn it. This is the meaning of honor. Meaning, get the presence of the reality of the gift that was given to you. And it cannot be by judging the performance of the fatherhood or motherhood. Is it clear what I'm saying? It means that most psychological healing, which is very necessary, is rooted in a mistaken attitude. It doesn't make it unnecessary, but it makes us in our work realize it. Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I would like to connect this, what to talk about the image, to what we read in the Zohar Emor 2 weeks before. There seems to be a general image that we were created of, like Adam, and then there seems to be specific images, like when we read in, I want to quote here from Emor, that there is an image coming with the spirit. For this, I quote here, for the image is a garment for the spirit of that man and comes down together with it, as they are like light and vessel. So there's the third counting from the spirit, Ruach, Ruach first, Nefesh, and then image. So there seems to be a specific image also to the spirit. Can you specify?
Only the spirit has an image, because image speaks about a dressing, a clothing. So for, let's say, for the soul and Ruach, there is the clothing of what we know as body. But for the spirit, there is a different cloth. It's called the garment of Rabbanan. Okay, Chalukah Rabbanan. It means Chaluk is a garment that you wear at home. When you're at home, you wear this robe of home. It means that what the spirit is getting, which is Tselem, the image, is the cloth that allows her to feel at home in the house of God. Okay, it means it's the right uniform, if you like. So the right uniform is basically we are reforming the cloth of the first Adam before he was expelled from Eden. This was his original robe, a cloth of light. And when he fell, he got the cloth of the skin. So the cloth of the skin is to do with what we call skin, meaning the envelope, the outer envelope of of nefesh and ruach. We change it. What is sort of accompany us is the ability, or is this robe that will allow our spirit to clothe itself in order to be in a higher place, which is the house of God, which is the world of Atzilut. So Tselem is not exactly a power of being, it's a power of allowing being to stay or to dwell in a closeness to, in proximity to the Creator. Okay. So you see that this component that was given to us, B'Tselem, is the means or the clothes that will allow us to grow into, as though I have to fill up this clothes, this dress, but with a different qualities than that I feel it. I feel my skin. My skin expands as I grow. Right? All skins are expanding. So this is to do with development. But to evolve, you need this tselem, this cloth of the spirit. Okay? So it's not to do with nefesh, ruach, or neshama. It's to do with the mediator between ruach and between nefesh, ruach, and neshama. This is called tselem. Okay? It's a component that will allow us to develop the entity in ourselves that will be able to face the light.
Beautiful.
It's an extra, okay?
Yeah, it's beautiful though. And it seems like we are, as far as I understand, we are connecting to this tselem through the studies.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting it because tselem has to do with the ability to reflect light. Okay, so it's a quality. It's a quality of bestowal. But now we're starting to see what actually compose bestowal, because we don't understand it. So tselem is something that mediate or translate for us from receiving to bestow. Yeah, it's a translator. Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Yeah. Okay. ועוד יש לנו שם... Okay.